Mate, so thank you for coming, right? I'm super interested to find out about you, right? So I followed you on Insta since he told me about you. I love your energy, mate, and your vibe. I will put it out there though, you're not your stereotypical card carrying, like incense chugging kind of hippie, right? And honestly, when I first started following you, I was like, Chavy Hippy, and then I'm thinking, I know he's a hippie, but it wasn't making
It wasn't
sense
making
in my head.
sense.
I'm like, oh, so he must be like a young lad who's come up from the estates and he's opened a chippy, and that's Chavy Hippy, mate. So where did that name come from? Because it's a class name.
So I was at an event. I started going to these events a few years ago called the Awakened Souls in Liverpool, and we done a weekender event.
Right.
And I was well into my journey by then. I was about 3 years into my journey by then. And a girl, I was talking to her at this weekend event just about like what I do on a day-to-day basis, all about like self-progression and all these different things. And she just basically looked me up and down with my trousers tucked into my socks and my cap on and just went like a Chavy Hippy. And I thought, yeah, you're right, yeah, it's bang on, yeah. So I just carried it since then, but I never released it or anything, and it was more about a self-judgment thing, I think. I imagined what my mates would say about it, so I just held on to it and always thought, you know what, as a brand name, I think it's fantastic.
Bang.
Yeah, it aligns with a lot of. It's very open, isn't it? It's very honest.
It reaches more demographic than
1
traditionally, your regular kind of card carrying, incense swinging kind of guy.
And I think it just says to people, well, look how I'm dressed now, like jeans, Yeezys, polo, like it just shows that. And everyone's at their own place and their own journey and what have you. But it just shows that it's not the stereotypical. You don't have to be wearing like bamboo trousers and have long braided hair. Some people are at that part of their journey, and that's fine. Like amazing, brilliant that you're that far into your journey. But a lot of people can't align with that. They see them people. Where I go to events with them people and I get on with them because they're just normal people who are very tuned into themselves. Where I'm showing people it's soft, it's nice.
I think if you put those type of people in Borough, right, in the wrong places,
I'm
from Peterlee, right, so it's like same thing. It's not going to work. But I think you will speak to more people, a broader demographic and it gives those people opportunity to think, I'm going to try this stuff out, right? And that's what I think what it's all about, right, is opening that up. So fair play to you, mate.
I've got a question for you. So when you had this concept, this idea, this feeling when you went to these sessions, like what was people's receptions to that when you first turned around and said, I'm going to start doing self-love workshops, I'm going to, what was people's initial,
So it's weird because basically I went round the houses to do it.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a girl called Jess Bunn who's one of my best mates, and she was the girl that pushed me to do it round here. She opened the first WhatsApp group. She got me doing it for small groups of meditations, sunset meditations down at Red Kagare. And she was getting the people to come there. And we were only getting small groups. We were only getting like 3 people. But I think, listen, I've never had this conversation with her, but I think in my head, she's seen how much it's helped me and her, first of all. And then she also seen how much I loved it. And, blow my own, self-awareness, let's call it. I'm good at it. I am, because I love helping people, and I love helping people the way that it's helped me. So we went round the houses a little bit. We started off with like a secret WhatsApp group and like a bit ninja-ish, and then we were taking people down the beach and then and we done a few of them, and then they fizzled out because of the weather. And then I went to Greece. So this is what I think this is what spurred it on the most. First of all, the belief of someone like Jess in me, who's my close friend, was amazing. And then a woman just reached out to me. So my dad died last year, And this girl who had known since I was a kid, yeah, she reached out to me to say, you know, have a chat about my dad and what have you. And she's a doctor of psychology, yeah.
All right.
And she was like, so I'm in Greece at the moment. And I was like, right, what are you doing in Greece? And she was like, got my own psyche retreats. And I was like, all right, okay. I was like, and she was like, what are you up to? And I was like, funny enough, taking a bit of a sabbatical from work. I'm supposed to have 2 months off, and I'm now into 6 months because I'm just kicking it, enjoying life. I said, but this is what I've been doing. And she was like, by this point, I'd went through all my Reiki attunements, which you do, your level 1, your level 2, and your Reiki master. I'd started helping other people with their events and stuff. I was like, that's what I'm doing. She was like, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for. Would you like to come over to Greece for a couple of months and help me? And I was like, what? And I was like, well, so what's the deal? And she was like, well, just come over, I'll pay for your flight, I'll pay for your accommodation, and then we'll just see how it goes from there. So I was just like, well, I'll go over there for 2 months in the sun, and I'll just love life. And, you know, I'll go and get to do what I love in the sun. Yeah, deal.
No,
let's go. So then it went to that, and that's when the Chavy Hippy came out, because I sat there and I just thought, oh my God, if that's happened without anyone even knowing about it, what can happen once I release this?
And you put the effort.
And I you know, I put my big boy pants on, and I just released it, and I realised that people are going to judge. Yeah?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Whether you're working hard in the gym, whether you're sat on the sofa eating pizza, whether you're out on the drinking drugs, or whether you climb mountains, whether you're doing something, whatever you're doing, people are going to slag you off no matter what. So, do you know what? At least let them slag you off for something that you fucking love doing.
Yeah, man.
Mate.
Do you know what I mean?
Mate, I felt that one.
Yeah.
When this idea was a concept. So I was saying to Paul, I'd spoke to Paul about this at length. When something happened to me when I was 21, mate, I used to be ballsy as shit.
Yeah.
I was on the BBC, sang in front of 6.8 million people, like didn't care what people thought. And at 21, I don't know whether it's when it was something got serious in the fire service or whatever, I just stopped taking risks. I wouldn't put myself out there. And I was speaking to Paul and I was like, I want to do this, what's your thoughts? And he was like, let's do it. And the biggest thing for me was, when we released that first episode, what's that reception going to be? But what you've just said there, people are going to slag you off. Who gives a flying F?
Yeah.
Like,
so the way
sorry, I will like to swearing.
Yeah. We're trying to keep it low, but sometimes my mouth goes mental.
Oh, mate, I'm the worst for it.
What I'm kind of like a big fan of, right, is unless you would swap places with that person tomorrow, or they pay your mortgage, who cares what they think?
yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
And as long as you kind of think about it like that, right, it gives you that little bit of extra confidence that you need just to kind of power through. But
well,
that's
it.
cool.
They don't control your life, do they?
No, nobody does. There's only you.
Yeah.
And while you do things, right, this back to I've got this pyramid, right, and it's like, look after number 1 at the top. That'll take care of your family and your house and all that comes on this side. Keep everything clean, keep everything neat, keep everything tidy. But you are the person that does all that sort of stuff. So you need to look after number 1, but it's you who also has to control those demons, right? So if there's people going, nah, look at him, what's he doing? Stay in your lane, you're punching out, or you're punching above the ceiling, or whatever it is. Bring it, mate. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You're not paying for my family holiday next year, mate.
That's it.
Yeah. You ain't take me to Thailand for 3 weeks with the kids, yeah? You're not, are you? So what's it got to do with you? Have you said free world, free country and all that, but don't get me started on that.
So, here's the thing, so it'd be great, because for you to come to the event, because you will hear me say these things, right? And I've said this numerous times. You are number 1. You are the person that you love most. You have to be.
Got to be.
Above everyone else, above your wife, above your husband, above your kids, above everyone. Don't get me wrong. You know they are a massive part in your life. But if you are not number 1, yeah, and you don't love you most, your relationships will feel that anyway. So whatever if you're letting things come here, yeah, everything here is going to feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go like that and you rocket to the moon, all of a sudden your kids are getting this amazing life and this amazing dad because you are loving life.
Yeah.
You're high on life.
I love how passionate he is.
Mate,
I love it.
So when did all? So let's take a step back, right? So obviously, whereabouts are you from? Obviously,
From
Bury.
Middlesbrough, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So you obviously weren't like this all your life, right? So when did it start? I'm not going to say red pill, blue.
What
pill.
part?
So
What, being a happy person?
when did you become interested in this field? I guess is part one. And you know, when did you become this happy? And I reckon that the latter would probably be a byproduct of the former, right?
Well, no, not really, because I've always been quite a positive. Well, I've always been a happy chappy. I've always had a pretty good energy. Yeah. I mean, I even remember being in primary school. I had a primary school teacher called Miss Allenson. Amazing woman. I still speak to her to this day.
Yeah.
What an amazing woman she was. Honestly, she was fantastic, and she used to get me to like sing Elvis and all in the class and all that. Like, so I was always the one to sort of like cheer the class up a little bit. Like, and she's still to this day. She's like, "Oh, here he is, Elvis," you know, that type of thing. So I was always that happy chappy. But I actually look back through my posts on Facebook sometimes, and I see the post, and I'm like, "Why was I talking like that?"
Yeah.
Shit today, it's boring. And I'm like, that's obviously just the stage that I went through.
At that day.
Yeah, at that point where that really wasn't me. Either side of that was me.
Yeah.
But that part there was just like, I don't know.
Negative day, bad day, man.
And I thought about this the other day. The only bad point in my life were when I was on the drink.
Yeah.
The only times that I was negative, was when I was on the drink. And it's eight months in 7 days since the last time I had a drink.
Yeah.
Never struggled with it.
Yeah.
Even before that, it was every 6 months, and that's why I cut it, because I was like,
What's the
what's the point? Yeah, what's the point? It doesn't even belong in my life.
Yeah.
So them sections there where I'm talking about, they were like when I was heavy on the drink, partying. Like, I was over in Spain for like a couple of years partying, and then that little stage there of me like putting status on, going, "Oh, it's boring today, depressed, don't talk to me," and all that. I know where it's from. I know where it spurs from. The drink. That's it. Yeah, the partying.
Yeah.
So I've always been like a decent energy, I'd like to think, or like a happy enough person. But the whole journey of this, it actually started more of from a business perspective.
Right.
Yeah. So tried a lot of different ways in business. I've had successful business, I've had ones that failed, and they're all lessons along the way. And at one point, I think I had 3 or 4 businesses running at the same time.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I remember what I used to do was every 3 weeks I'd just book myself a hotel in London. I'd go down to London on my own, because you're invisible in London, aren't you? You know, when you walk around Middlesbrough and you know everyone, or you walk around Stockton or wherever, and everyone's like, "No, you know, and you get dragged into pubs or whatever. In London, you're invisible, and it was fantastic. I wouldn't get a car anywhere. I'd just ride bikes for 3 days, and it was fantastic. And then it went from having that clear headspace just once every 3 weeks to like me looking into like little bits of meditation, but looking at it from like, you know, like a CEO or a board like members kind of perspective. And that got me into like breathwork and meditation, because I've seen these big high flying billionaires, multi-millionaires all doing it. I was thinking, well, if it works for them, why wouldn't it work for me? So I started doing that. Obviously I'm on a much smaller level, but essentially it's the same thing, isn't it? We're both running companies. No matter if they're worth 500 million or 500 quid, you still run the company, and you're still probably just as stressed. They're probably less stressed than me. I'm just starting. So I was like, right, okay, well, if it works for them, let's give it a try. And that's when I really got interested in it. And I was like, I joined. Have you ever heard of Paul Mort? He's a PT from South Shields.
No.
Yeah. won like
know.
PT of the year 3 years.
Alright, okay.
He works with like James Smith,
Yeah.
Darren Cartel,
Yeah.
Ollie Paula Lima, all of them. And I've done his 28-day, it's called like 20-day unbeatable or 20-day invincible or something like that.
Yeah.
So I've done that, and then it gives you meditation for men, and it's a 12-minute or 15-minute meditation. And I started doing that, and even after like 2 months of doing it, I'd start the meditation, and I'd be going to myself in my head, what are you doing? No bed. Stop it.
Yeah.
You're not going to tune out. And every time, but what you do is you set your alarm, for 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden the alarm would wake me up about,
Boom,
where have I just been there? And I'd come round and be clear.
Did you start off with 12 minutes? Because that's a big number to start off with, isn't it?
Yeah, started off with 12 minutes, yeah.
See, I owe you an apology, right?
Right.
So you obviously partnered up with Mark.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing your posts like, we're going to have this session where we're going to do a bit of self-love and breath work and this, that and the other. And I'll be completely honest with you, mate, I looked at it and I thought, not a bit of me, that. So I'm driving down to the gym and I'm watching you on Zoom. I've literally just pulled in the car park and you were...
No, you weren't driving.
I wasn't driving, I just said I pulled in the car park, put you on Zoom. And you were on about, I won't go into it too much, but you were on about these love arts on the paper, writing something you love about yourself. And something in my head just went, do you know what, go home, watch this, do this. I was stressed the fuck at the time. Went home and I caught it right at the end. I remember you saying, right, I want you to tell me the things, and I'll be honest with you, I just picked a mixture of what everyone else said because I just got home. And then we went in there, we were going through it, and I'm buying into it. I'm thinking, this was never a bit of me. This wasn't meant to be a bit of me. Then we went into breath work, and genuinely at that point there, my mind was blown, like the whole experience of it, and I just thought, right, this is something that I need to do. I need to scream about it, and I need to get Big Paul on it. Because
I'm up for, like, I love stuff like this, right? Believe it or not, I really, really do. When I was a kid, my uncle Nick, who I've told you about, so he took me down to Cornwall. Well, it started off in Salisbury and Stonehenge, and he
very spiritual space.
Well, he brought me down there and meet a bunch of his friends. One of them I'm still in touch with now. She lives in America, called Rocky, and they were all. And excuse me, right, when I say this, that these were all people who carried crystals, felt rocks, and felt energy off them, right? And at 8, 9-year-old, I didn't really know what this shit was about, right? And one of them gave me a meditation tape. And I've still got that, an old school tape, you know, I've still got that meditation tape now. And I used it probably from about 8-year-old all the way up till I was like 15, 16, moved out once a week. And it was just like a quick 10 minutes on a Sunday. And now I do quite a bit when I go to bed on a night. So I'll either put podcast on, or I'll just sit there, have my 10 minutes, go deep into my head and my thoughts, and then start trying to concentrate on waves and stuff like that. So I'm all up for this, mate. I'm like, sign me up, baby, do you know what I mean? I'm all up for it. But I said to him, I said, we need to get him on. I said, but I want to go do it first.
I know, I did say to you, didn't I? There's only one ticket left for the next event.
How's that?
They sell out pretty quick.
Yeah. So Sunday, because I think I'm on duty again.
Sunday the 13th of April is.
I'm aware, I'm aware.
But we've just launched one in Liverpool, which is the 27th, which is going to be a monthly one. That's going to be the biggest room.
So how often do you do these events?
Every 3 weeks.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Obviously, I need to work it round my full-time job.
Right.
Work it round retreats that I've got booked in, all these different things. But I try to do them every 3 weeks,
No, because we'll end up going down there for all the right reasons and going on the wrong path, mate. Do you know what I mean?
But you know what it is, honestly, and I know, and I really appreciate you saying it, and I have to say this, but I know that these afternoons are truly special.
Yeah.
Some of the moments that these are creating is unbelievable. I've seen people in front of my eyes in 3 hours change.
Yeah.
I've seen a woman not want to speak, because we do that share at the start, whether it's gratitude, whether it's something that we're happy about, whether it's self-love. I just walk in that room and I look at like hug everyone when they come in, and I know what I'm going to do. I don't have anything. Obviously, the structure, but certain practices that change as I feel like they need to change once I meet certain people.
So you haven't got like a formulaic plan. You just kind of
the flow's pretty much similar all the time, but the practices themselves, they may alter a little bit. But I've seen a woman come in and she wasn't willing to share, and by the end she was sharing and she was crying her eyes out. And that was all in the space of 2 hours.
So talk to me about obviously I don't want to spoil it for anybody that's going to watch and then going to go. So give me a broad kind of understanding of what.
Let's talk about it. Let's.
If I was rocking up, what does it look like? What does it feel like?
So you obviously turn up. They normally starts about 1:30. They run for like 3 hours, and the floor is, you come in, you get settled. I'll normally try and split anyone up that knows each other. Yeah. Because it's a personal thing.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And we'll start off with a share.
Right.
Yeah, which is basically you telling the room. Because once you say it out loud, it's so much more powerful once you say it out loud. And you get to hear other people. One of the feedbacks that I've had, and there was a lad who was a very close friend of mine who was going through something quite bad at the time, and one of his feedbacks from me was, one of the special parts was hearing other people's and thinking to myself, what am I worried about? This house problem from.
I've got that bad,
You know, and that's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Not only that, telling yourself that you love yourself, because we don't do it enough.
Yeah.
We don't tell ourselves how grateful we are for our life. So hearing that, hearing them words come out your mouth, do you know the amount of emotional releases that we have in the room? There's a girl that comes to a lot of the events. She cries for other people.
No way.
Yeah, really? Because she feels the emotion.
Feels the emotion.
Yeah, there was someone not long ago who was a very close friend of mine, and this is the amazing part about it. Like, I get to help my friends.
Yeah.
Like, if I get my friends in that room and I get to help them, that's success. That it really is. And he was saying how like he loves his kids, loves his wife, but he's cold inside and stuff, and like she just felt it and she was crying for him, and like, and it just shows how much we have got each other's back.
Yeah.
We're one humanity. We're not
Family,
against each other, for each other. It's a community thing. But so we do that share, and then we all pick a card. But the cards have to stay down, so they're like angel cards, oracle cards, whichever I feel is the right on the sound.
Sorry, I don't know.
So they basically, they'll have messages on them.
Right. Okay.
So they might tell you about certain goals that you've been following, and they always seem to align.
Right. Okay.
I'd say 90% of the time. But what we do is we keep them face down.
Yeah.
Then we go into a breath work, and what happens with the breath work is, it's tough. Breath work.
Right.
It's powerful, and what you're doing essentially is you're oxygenating and you're alkalizing the blood. Yeah. So by the time you come out of it and you've got like that for like 12 minutes, all of a sudden you just go into a meditative state anyway, and then we go straight into a guided meditation, no break, put some nice music on, and I guide you through a meditation, and the places that people go and the emotions that people can go through it's real, mate. It's real.
I like that it makes sense with the blood and the oxygenating the blood and stuff like that, because it's the whole analogy of approaching different situations on how much oxygen you should have in your blood. Like when we go training hard, you feel fight or flight and stuff like that.
And I mean, it's something that I do. I consciously take larger, deeper breaths now. So say if I'm driving down the road, you are.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah, you do.
I'd love to be able to coughing all over.
I'm driving down the road and I'm just automatically going, just automatically now, because I consciously do it now. Where if you sit there, you're like, do you know what I mean? They're not deep enough to fill your lungs anyway. So then we do the meditation, and then At the last one, game changer this, you know. So I've got a young kid called Brad Robinson to come in.
Right.
Brad Robinson, right, he's a local kid from North Hornsby, talented, unbelievable.
What, musician? Right?
Musician.
Yeah.
Come in with his guitar, yeah, just raw, yeah. I brought everyone round from the meditation with his guitar and his singing. Raw. I was jealous of the people going through the practices. Yeah, so then I expected everyone to start coming around when he started singing, not one person opened their eyes. I'm just stood at the front of the room like, what do I do? What do I do? So, and then I had to actually, after like 4 or 5 songs, I had to actually start like saying to people, right, you want to start coming round to the present?
Pay me attention.
Attention back into the room. So then everyone uses like, I let everyone sit by themselves. When they want to sit with their eyes closed, I encourage people to journal.
Right.
Because what comes next is community time, which is a powerful thing because you've walked into a room with 17 strangers, but then all of a sudden you see these little groups forming and like they're all going through what they've been through, and I'm like, I sort of like stand back and I'm like, I've created this. How amazing is this?
Create that environment where people feel comfortable to do that.
Yeah. So, but then by the time that finishes, 40 minutes later, they might have forgot what they were going through. But it's nice for them to have something to read.
Yeah.
If they've been through some kind of emotional release or whatever they've seen during that meditation or during that breath work, if they write it down straight away, it's fresh in their head, and they leave 50 minutes later, they might go, what happened? Oh yeah. So I encourage people to journal, but yeah, we got the singer in, he was unbelievable. What a fantastic talent, but what a great addition to the afternoon as well.
Oh, bless. What's he called? Give him a shout out.
Brad Robinson, he's called. Robinson. He's just actually brought his brand new single out yesterday.
Oh, no way.
It's called Skint Living.
Can we get that on there?
We'll get a link. We'll get it playing right over our speaking.
Yeah,
right
buddy.
Yeah. He's unbelievable. Great addition. So then we come round. We have some community time. I bring some cacao out, you know what cacao is, so we bring some hot cacao, and that's nice to do with an intention. So we set an intention at the end of the meditation, and then we do it with the cacao, because cacao's like a superfood, it's a heart-opening medicine. So once you start drinking the cacao with the intention, it solidifies. And then I bring like a fruit platter out, some healthy sweet treats, and everyone just sort of crowds round and has chats with each other and gets to know each other, and then sometimes we go for food after, and they're amazing afternoons, they really are, mate.
They make you happy as well, don't they?
Oh, make me happy thinking about
it. It does. I'm smiling at it.
Yeah, do you know what, I'm so passionate about it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I can tell, mate.
Yeah, I really do, and I made a video not long ago and I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Whether it's full time, whether it's part time,
just doing your bit.
Just doing my bit. I do charge for them, and you've got to value your own time.
Do you know what I like about it as well? The term that you use for the fee.
Investment.
Your investment.
Because you're investing in yourself.
I love that, and I saw it. I was like, investment.
Yeah. Because you're investing in
yourself.
Yeah. You come to me, mate. You're making an investment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not only that, like the afternoons, they don't make me a lot of money.
Yeah.
For my time, my effort, everything that I put in, they don't make me a lot of money. A lot of it goes back into it. New cards, new incenses, new smudge, new
session done.
Yeah. Brad didn't charge, but I'm gonna give him free tickets from now on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We always hold 2 tickets back as well to try and give away, because I want people to know that I'm not here just to take from people. I'm here to give back as well, and appreciate everyone.
You want different people that isn't your normal demographic. Not that I even understand what that demographic would be. But people who are maybe naysayers or on the sideline, you want to get them involved.
Yeah.
So I think transforming those will be the biggest vocal voice. I mean, if you sat the stereotypical version of me, big mush, he ain't going to be involved in this. Turns out I'm a little bit
Yeah.
But getting somebody like the stereotypical me over the line, is going to go straight to the gym and tell everybody.
Yeah.
He's going to go straight down the pub and tell everybody. You know, and I think that's the word of mouth piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what is the demographic? What's the customer type? Is it
Isn't
every walk of life?
So I go to events, right, and a lot of the events that I go to, they're branded as certain things like, you know, deep dive into your emotions and portal activations.
Right.
Because that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, I've been doing this 5-6 years now.
Yeah.
And I've been to a lot of events, so I'm tuned into it. Yeah. I know that these are fantastic, but I can go to a bit of a deeper level.
Need to go
Well, not that I need to. I love going to softer events, but I know that I can be in that room.
Yeah, and hold
where if someone's just starting, going into a portal activation is basically something that'll just make you go, I don't think I'll ever do that again.
Yeah.
So I branded them as self-love sessions. It's soft, it's nice, it's inviting. Yeah, it's not someone thinking that they're going into like a big, powerful spiritual event.
Yeah.
And I never wanted that. I always want the terminology to not be a deterrent for anyone. Yeah. And I think that's the whole thing with the Chavy Hippy. I never wanted
I love it. The brand
so well, it's brilliant, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're saying to me like a portal opening, right? I'm sat there going, I'm not ready for that yet.
That's what I mean. And a lot of people aren't.
But for, 3 or 4, if I'm taking on any journey, right, and I'm bought into it, right, I'd be involved. Do you know what I mean? But I hear you. I get what you're saying.
But this is the thing, you know, it's always horses for courses, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
Because in 3 months after coming to 4 self-love sessions, you might go, actually, I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
But I think, well, I know that I'm an introductory stage.
Right.
I'm a nice, soft introductory stage, but people are coming in there. I went to a retreat, and I'd said that I'm an introductory stage, and then I'd done 2 self-love sessions on the bounce.
Right.
And some of the girls were like, oh my God, and I was like, actually, am I in introductory stage? Because I'm blowing people's heads off.
I'm going straight at level 7 here, bro.
Yeah.
You must have come across some cynics in your time. There must be, is there anyone to know or remember where they've come and they've been like, this isn't for me, and then they've walked away thinking,
So there's one of my friends came, the first time he came, he was saying, oh yeah, it was brilliant. And then he came with his friend, our other friend, Ellis, and they had a brilliant time. And then he came back on his own, and then he said to me after, he was like, I mustn't have fully committed the first time. He said, because the experience I've just had there compared to the first one that we came to, he said it was completely different. And listen, if you're not used to it,
it's going to be it's a big comfort zone.
It's out of a lot of people's comfort zone.
I mean, I'm sat there thinking, right, I'm going to go into a room with a bunch of people I don't know. Don't know how I feel about that. Talking about stuff. Don't know how I feel about that. There's a lot about trusting the process, though, right?
Yeah.
And I'd come with that open mind, but I would be apprehensive. And I think if you are more self-aware or unself-aware, you're going to have some problems going into an environment like that, man.
Definitely. And I mean, I know that.
Yeah.
See, I'm the kind of guy that walks in the gym on the morning. I'm like, yeah, what's happening? And the girls behind the camera are like,
Oh, here he is.
Michael, it's 5:30 in the morning.
Your branding's brilliant for it though, like genuinely, you as a person, you post on Instagram and all that, it's happy. But even your merchandise that you do, it's all like happy, sunshine, and I know that goes alongside being Chavy Hippy.
Yeah.
But the use of the bubble writing, people don't realise the relationship people have with that, with being happy, and so I think it's very inviting.
Yeah.
Definitely very inviting.
And the messages that they're just putting out there, like one lad has bought the hoodie in every single colour, the Big Love hoodie. Because he's like, well, why wouldn't I just want to spread the message of Big Love every day? Like,
Fair play.
you're my guy.
Yeah.
Like, but that's what I want everyone to do. I want everyone to be wearing that Big Love t-shirt or hoodie and just spreading that message and adding a bit of cheer every day. Like,
I feel like I need a bit of you every day just to make me happy.
Keyring version, yeah. Just whip out of the pocket if you're having a bad day, right? Where's Mike Latchkey, your little prod?
yeah. I was on the phone, so at work, like, I'm project manager, and I was on the phone to our planner earlier, and, you know, we're on the phone, we're having a laugh and all that, and I'm going, you're a cheat, and all that. And then the lad over the other side of the office, he just went, he's got too much energy, man.
No, I love people like this.
I do. It makes our life easier.
Oh, yeah, well, shut up. Just both miserable bastards.
What do you mean, because I'm a gobshite, I just take over the mic?
What's is there any kind of key, like, bits of feedback that you've received? So you mentioned the guy that was cold inside before, and then has he gone and addressed that? Has he gone and changed? Have you heard back from him? Or
So I have touched base with him.
Is there any stories like that where you've like thought,
it's an amazing one, you know.
Is that?
It's very, very recent. So a girl, basically she messaged me the night before she'd found the event, and she bought a ticket there and then messaged me on the morning, yeah, saying, I can't come, yeah, basically, I'm not coming. And I went, I said, doesn't wear like that.
Pick you up, kid.
I said, doesn't wear like that. I said, I'll see you at 1 o'clock. Anyway, she did, she came.
Right.
Which I was very proud of her for, you know, again, pushing comfort zones, pushing boundaries, tough for a lot of people, you know.
Huge.
And I talk about a lot of different things, like, I don't practice my speeches or my intros or anything like that. Just get in there and I just start waffling.
Yeah.
And then whatever comes out feels right.
Yeah.
And she messaged me afterwards and she was like, you talking about your physical journey has really inspired me. I used to be quite slim and, you know, in shape and stuff like that. And I was like, fantastic, brilliant. She messaged me 3 weeks later. We'd had little bits of conversations and stuff, you know, like progress, see where she was at and stuff. And she just messaged me 3 weeks later and she was like, I've lost 10 pounds, I'm making better choices every day, I'm on a physical journey now. And I was like, oh. See, when you get messages like that and you're basically changing people's lives, that there is the dream, isn't it?
Man, that's unreal.
Yeah.
There's enough of it.
There's not enough people doing what you're doing.
There's not enough of it. There's not enough people who are having positive impact on people's lives.
Yeah.
We're at a point now where, like, so people are socially deprived. We haven't got a lot of money in the area that we live in.
Yeah.
And we need to be more aware of it. We need to spread happiness, joy, and get people fucking smiling again.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah. And that, my energy, like, I had a conversation with, do you know Hall's Butchers? Yeah. So I went to go and get a half a kilo of Manchester and spent 75 quid in there.
52.5.
Most expensive mince I've ever bought. No, I just had grass-fed beef just on sale. But the guy's so positive. I was like, oh my God, adopt me. But I was just chatting to him and we were just bouncing off each other. The guy's 65, he's still running track 3 times a week. He's out on his bike. And I was like, you are the man. Yeah. And I said to him, do you know what? Every day, if you ask me how I am, my answer's fantastic. I'm like, yeah, I'm fantastic. And do you know that, right? I don't want to put my bad energy onto someone. And my negative moment isn't someone else's problem. So why would I not just go, I am fantastic, yeah? I'm strong enough and my mindset's good enough to deal with my own problems anyway. But you know, once I tell 3 people that I'm fantastic, guess where I am? Fucking fantastic.
In a great place.
Yeah, and that you create your own energy within that, you know. So yeah, that's just all about raising that vibration and raising that.
Do you know what? I use something similar to living the dream. I know it's a bit
Yeah,
cliche now, I started this off about 10, 15 years ago, and I still say it now. And everybody, I'll jump onto a call and go, everything all right, Paul? And they'll go, still living the dream. And I'm like, goddamn right. And they're like, oh yeah. And you can hear people smiling over conversation because you're bringing a good vibe to the situation. But equally, if I'm having a shit day and I say I'm living the dream, people can equally tell that I'm not in a good mood. Do you know what I mean? And I try and be I try and be positive all the time, man. But life kicks the shit out of you, and you just got to suck it up and deal with it, right? So
and that brings us perfectly to a point of right. If you are in a shit place to a bad place, then feel free to speak to someone. Ask for that help. But at the same time, it's all about building up that positive mental health. And I go on about this all the time. People, when they hear the words mental health, they think negative, and you associate it with all the negativity. But workshops like yours, building up that positive level of mental health, so that when you are faced with an issue, it doesn't tip you over the edge. You go, I am strong enough and I am brave enough to deal with this head on. And that's why your workshop, when I was listening to everyone saying what they love about themselves, I'm sat there thinking probably from doing psychology in college, thinking, I can see what he's kind of doing here. He's getting people to tune in, love themselves, and realise how great they are as human beings.
And we all are. We're all absolutely, honestly, we are all amazing.
If you imagine you started off, right, in your dad's testicle, right, the chances of you hitting that egg, number one, the chances of that egg then growing, right? I mean, I won't tell you a story. I'll tell you a story when we're off camera, right? But the whole, and the fact that we're a huge ball of rock grown through a universe that nobody knows what the size of is. We don't know whether we're here on our own or not, but we've figured out how to breathe, how to eat, and how to be people. It's amazing. It should be celebrated. But I do understand how people, like you say, you know, we're not in a great space in terms of the northeast of England. I can understand how people get down and depressed because they don't have that bigger view. And I'm a big fan of there's got to be a great good of some shape or form. And you know, for years it was religion. Got a different view about that, right? For years it was a religion, but it always gives somebody something to hold on to. So I'm going to church on Sunday, and there is a greater good. There is something to believe in that's bigger than me and my family, right? And I don't think we have that now as a civilization. Or certainly not where we are now.
So religion for me, right? I don't believe in God. I believe in Mother Nature. I can touch it. I can feel it. I can smell it. I can. It's there for me. And something that I do love. Probably one of the only things that I do love about religion, it's probably the best point about it, is it instills faith and hope.
And community,
So, I used to say this when I was younger. I used to say, whether you believe in Allah, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in Mother Nature, or whether you want to pray to that light, if it instills faith and hope into you,
go for it.
Do it.
Fill your boots,
Just do it. And touching back on the mental health part, I think people overcomplicate things, and that's where it spirals out of control. If we take it to the bare bones, right, it's very the maths is so simple. Like the maths is so simple. You know, it doesn't take a rocket science to work it out. Make better choices. Work hard.
I'd say I'm a big kind of fan of stoicism, and it's like control what's in your controllables, that kind of thing. I had a girl reach out to me this morning. She responded to one of my stories on one of my various different social medias doing my head in. And she responded, and I've known this girl since we were 15, 16. And she's like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, you good?" She's like, "Yeah, my anxiety's back up." And she stopped drinking. She's back in the gym, and I'm like, next logical steps, go and jump in the sea. She lives near the seaside. Next logical steps, go and get some cold water. I said, however, I've got this guy on the podcast this afternoon. He might be right up your street. She was like, honestly, I haven't watched none of your podcasts. I'm like, cheers, bro.
Yeah.
But she said, give us a. So I think she's gonna follow you. And
Yeah, man, lovely.
That's what this is all about as well. Like
Awareness,
spread the vibe.
collaborating,
Yeah.
getting it out there, mate. Because it is genuinely something that I think is amazing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But when we talk about overcoming obstacles and things like that, I've got the lowest car in the world. The lowest car in the world, and any bump, I scrape my car all the time. Any minor inconvenience, my first go-to is, and I remember this, and I'm not religious whatsoever, but I remember my nana always saying to me, it's just God's way of challenging you.
Yeah.
Are you going to react positively?
Yeah.
Are you going to react negatively? Are you going? So every time I scrape me, I went up the lakes on a weekend just for a walk, get my head clear, scrape the splitter on the bottom of my car. Just a challenge. I'm not falling to the negative. I'm not getting pissed off. Basically, it's what it is. If my splitter's fucked, my splitter's fucked.
Yeah. And do you know what that is? That's just regulating your emotions.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah.
So once you learn that everything is temporary and it's all whatever is within your control is basically your emotions, your reactions.
Your reaction's your problem, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you're stuck in a traffic light, right, a bunch of traffic, and somebody comes flying on Yam Road because there's like a traffic light every 200 metres, right? If somebody comes flying past you and cuts you up and pulls up in front of you, right? Your reaction straight away is, what the fuck are you doing, you prick? Right? When it should be, what happens if this kid's trying to get home because his wife's on her way to hospital?
Yeah.
What happens if the kid's house on fire? What happens if the kid's got his daughter's locked in her bedroom and she's jammed her fingers and he needs to get home? Think like that and then just take your emotions out of it. Because the only person that's going to be stressed about at the end of the day and pissed off with a dude is you. Yeah. And all that's doing is bring negative energy to you. So just have a different viewpoint.
Well, do you know they say that your first thought isn't your own?
The first thought's what, sorry?
Your first thought isn't your own.
I've heard this, right?
Your first thought is not under your control. Your second thought is under your control. So say if you were driving down the road and someone cut you up and your first thought is to ram into the back of them, you're not in control of that.
Yeah.
But if you can, your second thought is what's in.
I've heard this before, yeah. I don't know where I've heard it, but yeah, it makes sense that.
Yeah.
So mine's always the nice one, the second one, after I've drove up the person's ass and smashed.
I apologise for writing you off the road.
It wasn't me.
Now my second thoughts kicked in, but oh yeah, that'd be really good. What about that? You're on it. Well, my second thought was fine, mate. That first one, mate, the Chavy Hippy mate said it was fine, bro. I'll see you later. Right, go to jail. So what's next? What do you see the next kind of? Have you got any projects noodling around or?
Yeah, so we've just made a partnership with the Shred Fast Gym in Liverpool. Okay. So that gym is actually called Heal Wellness, which is a perfect name.
That's nice, that, yeah.
The guys and girls are fantastic in there. They've been very, very supportive. So that's a new project at the moment.
Yeah.
There's some online stuff that I've been looking at that I'd really like to get into. Yeah. I'd really like to get on the online stuff.
Do you think it'll translate though as well? I think, having you in a room.
It needs to be immersive, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm feeling the energy off you being in this room. And I'm saying that, I do when I'm watching you on Insta as well. So it could,
I did when we did our session.
Yeah. I feel like
was that 100% Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
I really feel like it could be powerful even online. Definitely.
Yeah, reach the masses in.
Yeah.
You can help more people.
1,000,000%. I've when I've done my Reiki courses, I got asked to go and do it like one-to-one.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel the calling for one-to-one. I want to help the masses.
Yeah.
That's what I love to do. I love to have groups of people where I can help as many people as I possibly can. Yeah. So the online stuff, which is something that I love to do, been getting asked to do like corporate stuff, going in staff, which is something I feel like is quite powerful. I think that's quite a powerful one. I haven't really pressed on it, to be honest, because in all honesty, it's really busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Just with the events that I've got going at the moment and the requests for, like, obviously, like festival season's coming up.
Yeah.
So I've had quite a few requests from festivals for me to go and deliver on at the festivals, which would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool, yeah.
And then, you know yourself, content.
I mean,
You know
So
what?
I've actually got someone now that does my content, but I still need him to follow me around and record stuff.
Yeah. Mate, I've got somebody that's making my Instagram things for the boot, right? The first one said, limit alcohol. My best mate over the road went, you didn't write this.
Smudge you clean up there.
He was like, bro, you need to quality control these before you send out because you're full of shit.
That is one of the biggest things, your content. So you speak to people and you try and learn about the algorithm, and like us, mate, we're wanting to spread this message. So whenever we get someone on here, we want to spread the message of helping each other. Check on your mate. If you're having a shit time, message us if you've got no one else to message. But it's creating content that is going to promote your Instagram or your social media. There's so many triggers, like you need to be posting twice a day. So many people have to listen for longer than 3 seconds, and it blows my brain. Genuinely.
It's unreal, mate. That's absolutely unreal.
I mean, my I'm not going to lie, my numbers are pretty good. I think my Insta's, I think I've got like 700 followers on the Insta or something, and I get something like 70k views a month, which is what, times 10, let's say.
That's good.
Which is really good, yeah. And in all honesty, it's not like I want to become this viral superstar or anything. I just want to spread a nice message, to be honest, and I want people to just know that, like, they are powerful, they are brave, they're stronger than they actually know. The help is here if they need people like us, you know, and that just making better choices every day, and you will get there. Yeah, you will. Yeah, I promise you that you will.
Yeah, 100%. I think that is an unbelievable place to wrap up.
I agree.
Genuinely, that message right there, I want that to just be
mic drop.
Sayonara. Chavy Hippy has spoken.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a great time. It's
been good. That I really enjoyed it.
We might have to come to Liverpool.
Mate, we're not going to Liverpool, mate.
Do you know what's mad about it, right? I know that you said about the online stuff, and I've done a couple of online podcasts.
Yeah.
But you know, being in this room, it's so much better. Like, I feel like the online podcasts that I've done in the past were like more like interviews.
Yeah.
Where this has been like a good chat round the table. Yeah.
That's how we kind of do it. I mean, we had this guy on the other week, and to say that he was apprehensive to come on was an understatement, right? And I said, look, you've got an amazing story, come and do it. And he was so pleased that he came and did it. And it's about this kind of setup. I think it's important.
I think you can't see a door. This is one thing in my head, and I don't know whether it's just psychological or whatever. I can't see a door. It's just 4 walls and us.
I've never noticed.
It's a safe space. That to me, do you know what I mean?
Powerful,
no one's walking in. It's just us. It's a safe space. Let's just have a bit of crack.
And I just also, like, listen. Obviously, the character I am, I'm up for anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's fucking do it. Like, I messaged you and I'm like, let's fucking do the podcast. Do you know what I mean? I'm willing to step in any room with fucking anyone around the world. It's not a problem to me. I don't give a shit who you are. You could be the president of the United States, or it could be a kid from Stockton fucking High Street. Like, I'll step in the room with absolutely anyone. But for me, collaborations, raising each other's, you know, 100%. You're using my crowd, I'm using your crowd. Hopefully you get a few followers off it, I get some content, you get some content, and people just get to hear a fantastic story along the way as well.
That's a key bit for me. So I'm a bit, when we sat doing, and we've figured this way, Jim, he's amazing, mate, he does all the edit and stuff like that, right? We've figured this way to do these sound snap bites, whatever they're called, sound bites. I'm like, I've been watching YouTube today, you need to put them on shorts, that's it. You need to put them on YouTube, and he went, All right, yeah, sound. We put it on YouTube. It's 10 hours. I'm doing 2.5.
He sent me a rate, so he said these shorts and that, and to be honest with you, I kind of thought, oh, let's have a look. So I shot one on, and then he messaged me 10 hours later just saying, we're like 2,500 views, mate. That's when.
What?
But I feel conflicted, right? Because it feels like to me that we're doing a bit of a sales number, right? But then equally, you need to do it to get the story out. And it conflicts me a little bit because I do feel like we're going down this salesy, push, when in reality all we're trying to do is get some good vibes out there.
Yeah.
But then equally, for us to sustain this, we need to have people interested, or we'd probably get bored. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, we said from the start, and like my big focus was if 10 people watch this, right, and one person's helped.
Yeah, perfect, isn't
Job
it?
done, and that's what it's for.
Yeah.
It's good therapy for me and him.
Yeah.
We meet up on a Sunday or normally a Sunday.
Yeah.
Just have a bit of crack.
Yeah.
We walk away from it and we're like,
Happy as fucking Larry, man.
and that's it. That's all it is for me. When we do push it, it's I want it. We, like yourself, mate. When you talk about the online and reaching the masses and helping the masses. Sorry.
It's about getting the word out. It's about getting the vibe out, isn't it?
Yeah.